Yeah, relieved. I mean, a lot of these games that we've, played come down to, the free throws. But, those games, though, there was multiple ways that we could have, won that game other than free throws. We could have got a stop before, the free throws. But, the games come to that, to the end. But, making these, it's just a relief. I feel like, that monkey's off your back. So, big win.
This is your fourth straight home game that was decided by 2 points. Did those earlier games play into it at all tonight as far as being able to close it out and finish off the win tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I think, we could just reflect off those games, try not to do the same thing. We've had experience and, I think this time we were actually locked in of, just trying to get this win because we've been through this, close games, at home. So just getting this win and, having this experience was big.
Keon, when did you know you were going to start? Does that change any of your mentality or preparation or anything going into the game, or is it just doing what you do whenever you're on the court?
I knew I was going to start yesterday during practice, but no, it doesn't change how I'm going to play the game because I have the mindset of not having any kind of superstitions when going into a game or practices because I feel that changes if something happens one day. So I always make sure to just go in the mindset of just doing the things that my team needs me to do, my coaches tell me to do, and play hard from there.
A lot of energy to begin the game, a lot of fan energy. I mean, did it feel like maybe an increased crowd helped give you guys a little bit more energy tonight to start out?
Yeah, for sure. But, Coach, we talk about all year, it's really just us. We generate our own energy, and I think that's what we, do preparing, for these games is, generating our own energy. And I think, in the beginning of the game, the preparation, we brought a lot. So I think, that comes from that, and, it was just a plus, from the fans today.
Yeah, everybody wants to know about the threes, so you got to tell us the secret there. But the defense for you, you had blocks, you had a charge, you had deflections after deflections. Talk about your overall game today.
It's been coming. When it finally happened, my second three, I told F and to my teammates, I said, finally, because I'm in the gym all the time in the mornings before practice, in the offseason all the time working my threes because I know that even though I may not find that comfort because back in my old school I wasn't shooting that many threes, putting that kind of work in the practices and off seasons that I can make those shots. In practices, guys know that I can shoot that three. So I found the confidence not just for myself but also for my teammates and coaches. And the defense, that's what Coach tells us every single day. Defense wins games, and that's what I make sure to make myself a defensive player because I know that's going to get me to the next level. So I make sure to prep myself in defense before focusing on my offense.
You guys built that big lead in the first half. How important, maybe mentally, was it to finish strong? Zhuric, you hit that three to still have the lead going into halftime, even though they had, fought back and took a lead briefly there in the first half.
Yeah, I knew, Coach, I think it was like the second media of the game, and Coach knew that, I think the foul count was 9-2. And we knew that the refs were, going to even out the, the foul count. So I think, just being ready for that, was the biggest thing for us, just not being mentally, down about that because we knew it was coming. I think every foul that we've got, I think we knew this was coming. So I think, just being ready for that, I think that's what led us to this win.
Along those lines, you had the big lead, and then Temple fought back to make it a 2-point game at halftime. And you looked sort of like you regrouped at halftime, and obviously it was back and forth through the second half. What did you guys talk about in the locker room? What adjustments were made in the locker room to get through the second half?
Defense. I think, just getting stops is, the big deal, for us. And I think, we talk about getting kills, 3 stops in a row. And I think, that was the big thing for us, That's a big thing for us, every game. So, just getting kills, getting stops, that's what we, regrouped and talk about. Because, that's what's going to win us these games.
Zhuric, you mentioned your relief. Was that more relief just from how the game finished, with a couple free throws on the line, or was it relief kind of just, hey, we finally got a close win that, we were able to pull one of those out?
I think a bit of both. These games, especially, like Hawaii, other games like that, I think just, it came down, to free throws and, just getting stops. So I think, it was a bit of both, the relief of, just getting a close win, and it was free throws, for us to win the game. So I think that was just a bit of both.
Zhuric, coaches talked about your growth and your maturation as a leader on this team. And one thing you talked about recently is your ability to kind of move on from plays that may not go your way. It seemed like you were really locked into that today. You had a play also defensively where you dove on the floor in the first handful of minutes. It seemed like it really set the tone for you. Normally a game like where you had this kind of foul trouble may have not let you be in your best space. Talk about your growth, also your most efficient game, 19 points on 11 shots.
Yeah, you know, me and Coach, you know, we talk every day about it. I think it's not, you know, during the game, you know, it's, you know, outside of the game, you know, during practice, you know, and I think, you know, off the court as well, you know, how I interact with people, you know, how I go through things. And, you know, I feel like my growth, you know, has been, you know, very, very good, and I think it's continuing to grow, you know. So I think my bounce back is my, you know, my biggest thing, and I feel like I've, you know, gotten better, you know, each and every day. And I think just keeping a, you know, a short memory is the thing, you know, to get me over that hump.
Awesome job. You seem like you got knocked to the ground as much tonight as maybe all year. Was this the most physical game you played in this year, and how do you feel physically now?
Yeah, body hurt. Most definitely one of the most physical teams. Now you got teams like Houston and them, but yeah, for sure. It was definitely physical. You know, just I think you know, practice is physical, you know, as well. So you know, just me being used to it, you know, just you know, receiving those bumps and all things like that. I think it helped me, you know, just get back up. So yeah.
One more question, too, as regards to your growth. It seemed like you were more impactful, not just in scoring. 5 assists, 4 steals, really made some big-time defensive plays. Talk about that part of it and maybe not just defining yourself and just scoring points.
Yeah, you know, that's another thing me and Coach talk about, you know, that I can be a way better defender than, you know, that I put my mind to. You know, I think I've just been taking that on, you know, head first. And I think, you know, the steals, you know, it sometimes can hurt me. But, you know, Coach, you know, and the staff live with it. But I think, you know, when the time comes, you know, to get a stop, I think I've been, you know, very, you know, on edge about that. So.
And then what about the assists?
Yeah, I think just getting my players and my teammates involved, you know, I think that gets them going. And, you know, Coach, you know, we always talk about, you know, my energy, you know, reflects, you know, the whole team. And, you know, I think, you know, just getting them going, you know, Keon, you know, hit some threes. And I think, you know, that generated energy too. So, you know, just things like that. I think, you know, those going up as well, you know, just helps us, you know, more. You know, everybody's contributing. And just things like that.
How much just, obviously it was a tough loss, Wichita State here. How much of that game do you take with you to go play there? Do you use any of that, or do you kind of try and flush it and take it on as a whole new thing?
Yeah, I think, you know, getting to play them twice is, you know, the good thing that comes out of it. You know, of course we got to go to their place, but, you know, we know the mistakes that we done, you know, that game. You know, just bringing it there, you know, watching film, you know. We got, I don't know, we play Sunday.
Yeah,
you know,
Sunday.
we got a few days to prepare. So I think, you know, just going into that game, you know, just trying not to do the same things that we did last game.
I guess it would go without saying that really, really proud of these guys. Obviously, we're in February. You know, we've been in some close games, and we've had our share of disappointments. And without fail, after each disappointment, these guys come in. We have some of our best practices, the attitude, the approach, the connectivity remains strong. It's gotten tested quite a bit. And I'll just say this to you guys, like I talked to a fellow coach today, and you know, in our profession, you know, guys, it's definitely a fraternity. And guys check on guys. I do it all the time. I call guys when the team is struggling. I see how his mental health is, and you get those calls all the time. And I got that call this morning. I was saying, no, I'm having fun, because I know when I walk into practice that we're gonna have a good day, and it's good people. And because they keep responding so well to some disappointments, you want them to be rewarded. And so I'm really happy for the group tonight that we found a way to win. And I couldn't be more proud against a really good team that, their last game, they were playing for first place. So we're talking about one of the teams at the top of the league with some really good players who did come to play and played well. And we found a way to win a game, and I couldn't be more proud.
Zhuric used the word relief. Is that maybe a feeling you would share?
No, but, it does give me some insight to him because I do think, I think he wants to win bad. I think he takes it personal. I think he carries it to the free throw line with him, and maybe he'll settle down. Maybe we'll settle down. In the first half, we got up so big, which was a new thing for us to start the game so fast. And even in the timeout, I said, listen, you only have to win by one. And that was a little bit prophetic, but you can't worry about the score. If not for the shot clock, I might have went 4 corners right then and tried to bleed the clock the rest of the game. But the fact that they made a run, took the lead, we fought back. They led in the second half. We took it back. We've been in these situations a lot, and then we got to find a way to finish. And again, really happy that we got it done.
You got out to that big lead, and then, as you said, Temple had the run to come back and tie it up. What led to the fast start for your guys, and what changed that allowed Temple to come back and get back into it and make it a game?
Well, Temple's good, and you don't plan for starting out 19-2 against a good team like that. And at that point, we were up with fouls 9-1, so I knew that was going to get evened out. So that's part of how they got to the free throw line and made theirs, but it was 9-1 on fouls, and moments later it was 10-10. So, but that's sometimes how the game flows. If I was down 9-1, I'd be saying to the refs, why is there so much of a disparity? And I'm sure Aaron was doing the same thing. So, but they're good. They got good players. They bring their best players off the bench. Their leading scorer, which is a unique thing that he's got them to buy into doing that, and they do it so well. So that was part of it. But we made some shots. But the big thing is we were getting stops. They shot 33% in the first half, and 21% from three. So we were getting stops. That's what led to the early lead.
And then just how big was, though, coming back and taking the lead into halftime, just from a mental standpoint, to not see that lead go all the way down and not be there at halftime?
Yeah, I didn't really think of it like that. It's cool when you have the lead or whatever. We could have been down 4, up 6. I mean, it's a long game, right? So sometimes you feel like there's a psychological boost there going in, but once you come back out and the game starts, it doesn't really matter as much as I think some people, unless you're down big and you come back and take the lead. I've been in games where we're down by 20 in the first half and you're the one that comes back. I think, if anything, the fact that they were only down by 2 at halftime probably gave them more juice. And then they came out in the second half and shot, 53%. So I think they got more confidence from the way that the half ended than we did by making a shot, if that makes sense.
At the same time, does maybe Zhuric making that 3 before halftime translate to him feeling, hey, late in a game setting, I can make a key shot that maybe hadn't been falling for him at times this year?
I think it's important for him to see the ball go in the basket. He's young, and I think when it does go in, that gives him some juice. And that said, I was particularly proud of Zach. Zach was 2 for 13, 0 for 7 from 3, had a lot of good looks. It's the first time this season where I didn't want to take him out because he was playing good defense. That was a new experience for all of us. I was really confident. He was locked in defensively. Dunn is great at shot faking, and you bite on the fake and he draws a foul. He got one of them. But Zach was really locked in defensively. So the shots he didn't make, he neutralized that by his defensive effort on the other end. Really, really proud of Zach.
Sam obviously played a lot of minutes tonight, but Keon got the start. What was the thought process behind going with Keon to start the game?
Sam was late for a film session 2 days ago, a couple of minutes. That's all. Wasn't nothing big. I just didn't let him practice for a day, and I brought him off the bench. We're all even now. So.
How did you feel about how he responded, Coach?
Well, what's today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
So Monday, we had film at 9:30, and he came running in there late. And I just did what I would do in that situation. Didn't let him practice on Monday. Tuesday, he came out with his pants on fire in practice yesterday. So I knew, barring foul trouble or whatever, I knew I was going to play him, normal minutes that he normally plays. I mean, I don't know if he leads us in minutes, but he's up there. I do feel more comfortable when he's on the floor. And but he practiced so well yesterday. I knew it would carry over into the game. And, once again, he went out there and had double digits and 6 rebounds. But a key defensive play late in the game that would probably go unnoticed when we have a concept called run the pass. Most coaches would say jump to the ball. And what's the kid's name? Khalil Battle. He's got a chance to turn the corner, and Sam jumped in the passing lane. And it's a small thing, but that guy only needs an inch of space, and Sam took away an opportunity just by being locked in on scouting. And so proud of Sam.
You've talked all year about finding the right response to different forms of adversity. And when your team watched that lead slip away, so you went to the locker room only up 2, especially this team being in its first year together and with you and your staff, how did you help your guys sort of regroup and regain their footing for the second half?
Yeah, I didn't really think we needed to regroup. I think that's part of it, is just the disposition that these games are supposed to be close. So, we're going to come out here and beat these guys by 40. I'd love for that to happen, right? But that's not your expectation. The expectation is for all these games to be a dogfight. And so we got out on a run. But, if we could have kept that going, that would have been wonderful. But the game wound up going the way we expected the game to go when we were preparing for them. So when it got down to 2, it was right where we thought it would be. And there was no reason to really regroup. We just had to, we were in a game at East Carolina. It was a close game at the end. We didn't finish. And we've had some games like that. Cincinnati didn't finish. And tonight we had an opportunity again, and we found a way. And I'm proud of these guys for being able to find a way to do it.
Coach, it was a pretty big crowd. The football team was there. Fans had some Pac-12 signs because some stuff was going on. What did you just kind of think about that?
I was not aware of that, any of that. So.
What did you think of the crowd?
It was great. It was great. Student section being, more full tonight was awesome. I thought that was great. I wasn't aware of the signs and all of that stuff. So I just want to make some free throws.
Were you aware the commissioner was here, though?
I read that, yeah. Yep.
Were you aware that Keon Ambrose-Hylton can make threes, Coach?
I was. No.
I've been to practice. I've seen him do it.
Yeah, no. I think you have to understand, he really didn't play at all his first 2 years of college. And so what happens with a lot of young guys, they want to be good at everything before they get good at anything. And for him, be a great defender and rebounder and hustle and get the minutes and the experience, and then the game will slow down, and then the other things that you're capable of will start to take hold. But if you come in and try to be great at everything before you've ever even played, it can get convoluted. And but the more minutes you earn because you're defending and rebounding, then those opportunities present themselves and you'll settle into it. But if he came into this year trying to make threes, he probably wouldn't be playing right now. But instead, he did what he was good at, and there's something else that he has in his game that he can build, and I think that's what you saw today. But he's a good shooter, and he works at it. So he's got a chance to be a really good player. But he's done a good job of not putting the cart before the horse.
You mentioned Zach Nuttall tonight had one of those nights when his shot wasn't falling, but you kept him in because of the other parts of his game, including the defensive end. Did you and your staff have to sort of get in his ear during some of the late timeouts to keep his focus or his energy in the right place?
I don't think so. There's always some dialogue going with the assistants, talking to him or whatever. But, you know, Zach is an easy read. If you look in his face, you can see exactly what's going on with him, right, without him saying a word. And same thing with Zhuric. But Zach was pretty locked in the whole time. He was frustrated the shots weren't going in, but he was going to take the next one, and that's how I want him to play. I mean, he had some good looks, and I didn't even know how poorly he shot until after the game when I saw the stats. But I never felt like he got disconnected, and so that was great.
Coming into this game, the team stats between both teams were very similar. I think literally the same points per game. Obviously 71, 70, and you make the same amount of field goals as the same. Long story short, did you kind of see a team that matched up pretty evenly with you guys when you were watching on film?
Great question. I didn't look at it like that. I was more concerned about Reynolds, Dunn, and Battle, and then Hicks, like guys who can really affect the game with their shot making. Hicks had some in the first half. Battle went for 27. Dunn can dominate a game. So I was looking at, you know, how are we going to limit some of these guys so that we can give ourselves a chance. And, you know, we didn't limit Battle. Dunn didn't go off, but he's a really, really good player. And Reynolds didn't affect the game the way he's capable of, because he can have a real dominant presence in terms of putting fouls on guys and getting to the free throw line himself. And he's a load down there. And I thought F.A. did a good job because we were prepared to double team if he was really hurting us. And F.A.'s got such a competitive spirit that he was like, no, we're not doubling. I got him. And I thought he did a pretty good job.
You mentioned kind of those big four for them, and they were their points leaders. You guys were pretty balanced offensively. I mean, everybody but one that got on the court scored. Everybody but two scored at least 5. How big is that, having everybody involved and not whoever it is feel like they have the entire offense and the scoring responsibility on their shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have some guys that we rely on to score, but the makeup of our team requires that guys go in and play with confidence if they're going to be on the floor. And so we try to empower them that way. Obviously, everybody's not going to have the same role as the guys who lead us, but still, if you're going to be on the floor, it's important that you play with a level of confidence and be a threat, because the level we're playing at it's not conducive to having guys out there that are playing timid. Like, if you're going to be out there, you need to play. And so, and then obviously I believe in these guys and they're capable. We don't have a huge margin for error, but we still have yet to play our best basketball in conference. So tonight maybe gives us something really significant to build upon.
Coach, I have 2 for you. One of them is your son was a big spark in this game. He got to the line 8 times, got some 50-50 plays. One foul in particular he picked up on a blockout was a big momentum, kind of a fight, we're here kind of play. What did you think about his play off the bench today?
Yeah, you know what, he's coming off an injury, and he had 2 great days of practice. And you can see his confidence growing. You know, we were talking about Keon earlier. M didn't play a lot his first 2 years. And when you're in college and you don't play, you can really develop a high level of self-doubt. And now you come into a situation where your dad's the coach, and now there's some little bit of anxiety around that, making sure that I've earned everything I get and I'm not being treated differently than the rest of the guys, and finding that sweet spot where your teammates really respect you. And he's earned that. And now it's starting to translate into some confident play. He is a winner. He's a winner. He makes winning plays. He has a winning attitude. And I think as much as anybody I've been around as a coach, he celebrates other people's success. Like if he doesn't play a minute and we win, he will be as happy as anybody on the team. So, so proud of him tonight. His contribution was critical.
Yeah, my second one is we've talked a lot about Zhuric Phelps. We asked him these same questions, but his maturation was pretty evident tonight. His response, his bounce back, as he called it, from plays that may not have gone his way. 6 of 11 for 19 points, had 5 assists. He was fouled 6 times. Got a huge loose ball on the floor early in the game. Just kind of had a different energy about him today that continued the whole game. What did you think about him? And you talked about his maturation. What did you see?
The biggest challenge for him, he's got to grow in a lot of like skill areas, but for the game to slow down for him and for him to really develop a level of poise. And I thought the last 2 games and the last couple of practices, you could see that starting to take hold. You and I were talking about that earlier today. I probably didn't articulate it well, but poise would be the word that I see him starting to develop. He almost lost it when they called his second foul. He got frustrated, and I was afraid he wasn't going to let that go. And he did. He moved on, got it behind him, picked up his 3rd. But he showed some poise tonight. Wasn't perfect, but you could see the growth, you could feel it. And even when I'm communicating with him, I could just see, in real time, I see him growing. And that's fun as a coach, because I've been really patient because I think he's an enormous talent. And to see the game starting to slow down for him is fun to watch.
One more quick question on him. I'm gonna come back to it.
Okay. That might have been the last one.
It might be.
Anything else?
Just obviously it was a tough, close loss to Wichita State here not too long ago. How much of that do you take with you going there? Obviously some game plan stuff, but you know, how much do you take from that? Obviously tonight's a close win as you try and go win a conference road game.
Well, the trend has been tough defense in the first half in some of these close games, and then in the second half, Cincinnati shot 60+%. The second half at Tulsa, they shot 60+%. Second half, USF shot 50+%. Tonight, in the second half, they shot 53%. That's what happened in the run that they made that put us down by 13, whatever it was, that we had to come back from, was a byproduct of poor defense on our part during that second half stretch. It's been a little bit of a trend there. So it's going to be a tough, hard-fought game. They're a very good defensive team, very physical. And so we're going to have to play better, longer defensively.
So Zhuric, question, you put him back in, Coach, with fouls multiple times. You trusted him. Just if you don't mind sharing a little bit of your thought process on that.
Yeah, that was a byproduct of my gut saying that he's growing up, that he won't emotionally put himself in a position to get another foul because he's thinking the game, and even saying to him, hey man, I'd rather you give up 2 points here. You know, you still got to play, but if there's any doubt, you know, we'll make the 2 points up if you're still out there. And so just thought he did a good job. And we played a little zone during that stretch too to try to keep him out of harm's way. But sometimes for him, you worry about him getting a foul offensively because, you know, he's so determined sometimes. And he just played with enough patience and poise to let the game come. And if he makes his free throws, he would add a 25-point game.
What do you hope to see from this team as you close out the rest of the conference play?
Well, I want them to have an off day tomorrow, and I want us to practice on Friday the way we practiced when we came back from East Carolina. That's what I want. So.
You give off days after wins often, or off days after games in general?
No, we just try to get an off day every week. NCAA rules.
Okay.
So trying to follow the rules. Thanks. All right, thanks, guys.